So I remember my first time returning to church. My church is a big part of my life. I serve in my church. I've been attending my church since I was a teenager. And if you watched the first episode, if you haven't watched the first episode, pause, go and watch it so that you can understand. Anyway, if you watch the first episode, I mentioned how I took some time off from church. Now, I think I was away from church for 4 Sundays. I think so. Can't remember clearly. When I would eventually return to church, I had a straight face on. It wasn't because I was angry with anyone, but it was either I was crying or I had a straight face on. And I didn't think I needed to explain that to anybody. I recall somebody, God save you that I love you. Somebody said to me that if only you stop frowning. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I should just arrive grinning. I was trying to deal with people like, Faisal. Excuse me. I was trying to deal with people saying, Faisal, welcome back. How are you? I was like, I'm fine. Now, the reason I'm telling this story is because of praise and worship. During praise and worship, normally, when I'm leading worship or during praise and worship, I'm what you would call the crying minstrel. They take. After when I just think of the mercy of God, I will start crying. But on this particular Sunday, the first song, before the first line, Waterworks. The Anointed, I love you guys. It wasn't the spirit. It was the grief. The atmosphere just made me so emotional. I think we're singing a song about the love of God or the goodness of God, and I just started crying. So I was trying to, I sit in front. Do you get? There's nowhere to hide. I really wanted to sit like in children's church. Just be in church, but not in church. I was crying. At some point, I had to kneel down. I was worshiping God with my tears. The kneeling down wasn't a reference to God. It was just to hide my face because the tears, I could not help it. I could not stop it. And so if you remember that Sunday, if you attend Harvest House Christian Center Lagos, you remember that Sunday. Now, the reason with that, I was crying tears of pain. You think that, it's been 4 weeks and I've had time to at least try to process things. You think, it's been 3 months. I have had time to process things. You think, it's been a year. I have time to process things. Today is a day. I'm back. I'm better. I'm strong. And then you just be there doing something random and you just go and remember, like them taking a hymn that my mom loves, Waterworks. I'm shopping in the supermarket, in the cosmetics aisle. My mom was a sucker for cosmetics, perfumes, creams, lotions, soaps. I see a product. She has a particular brand that she's obsessed with. I see the brand, Waterworks. I'm thinking to myself, I want to do something. Let me tell mommy. I remember that she's no more. Waterworks. You never really can tell when or how it comes. The memories will just hit you sometimes. Sometimes the grief stops you in your tracks. Like you're busy getting on with your day, like actively doing something productive with your day. And then the wave, just a fresh and strong wave of grief will hit you. And you will legit stop in your tracks and just let the tears fall. You know how you go to the gym and, maybe your first month or your first 2 weeks, you are doing 5 kg dumbbells. And then by your 3rd week, they're asking you progressive overload and you go to 7.5 kg. Or maybe you're even doing HIIT exercises and doing 2 burpees before you feel like you want to die. But, by your first month or at the end of the first month at the gym, you can confidently do 12 burpees, and hardly break a sweat. Those burpees didn't get easier. You got stronger. The dumbbells didn't get lighter. You got stronger. I feel like that's how it is with grief and healing. Because when they say time heals all wounds, I'm like, really? How? Exactly. I don't think the wounds change when it comes to emotional hurt or pain. I don't think that's what changes. I think you get better, you get stronger. Because if you tell me time heals all wounds, which dates? F mini memo. What's the tracking number on that package? When is it going to be delivered? When is dispatch going to call me about the healing that is, has it come? You really cannot put a timeline to it. You can't put a tracker to it. Honestly, you can just hope and have faith for each day, for every season. And you find that today you don't cry all day like before, just a few, you just tear up, unlike when you can't just stop the tears from rolling down your face. I'm speaking from personal experience. Every single thing reminds me of my mom, every single thing. And initially, this would mean that I may be having a nice conversation and suddenly I just switch off. And I'm unable to explain what's going on with anyone the person I'm speaking with, because I just remembered something. Because my mom was such a phenomenal woman, such an involved woman, she was involved in our lives. She was our friend as much as she was our mom. Do you understand? She was my friend. She was friends with my nieces and nephews. Do you understand? So she was very involved, very engaging. It's hard to not think about her. I think about her every day. Like, I doubt if there's any hour that goes by that I don't think about her. And I don't see how this is going to change. Last year I was nominated for the AMVCA Awards, and while I was preparing, I honestly didn't even want to go. I was like, oh my God, like my mom is not even here. Like my first nomination, as soon as my mom knew, she started praying. She was anointing the flyer. I'm like, mommy, it's not a voting category. Can relax. This year, it just felt like the joy was not there for me. I'm like, or last year rather, the first one was in 2023, last year. And I just didn't want, I felt like, what's the point, And honestly, I'm trying, and you must do the same. Try not to let that grief define you. The trauma of that experience, you have to ensure that it doesn't define how you go through life. Because if you allow it, it will remove the joy from living from you. I mean, when the guilt of even being joyful or enjoying life hits you, it kind of takes, grief can take away that joy. And sometimes when big things are about to happen in my life or they're happening, I'm like, oh my God. For instance, I shot a movie last year and I'm like, I was like, I want to rejoice, but my mom, I wish she was here. What would my mom do if she were here? Those are the thoughts that you must combat. They would come. Go through it, think it, deal with it, but do not let it define how you go through life. If you go through life through the glasses of grief, you will become a shadow of yourself. One of the things I also learned about dealing with grief and healing from grief, if I didn't say so before, welcome to episode 2 of the grief series. And this one is, I'm going to be circling around talking about healing from grief. One of the things I've learned about grief is that it's a myth to say you move on from grief. You don't move on, you just live with it, honestly. Because the people that you're missing, you don't stop missing them. They don't suddenly become non-existent in your life, You may think about them less, but there'll be moments in your life, in your journey, in your days where you would just stop in your tracks and think about them. I mean, in the first episode, I spoke about a friend of mine whose mom passed 12 years ago. Another friend of mine, his mom passed when he was very young. His dad passed not too long ago. His younger brother passed a while ago. And it's at least a decade, with him dealing with grief. it talks about it as though it was fresh. So I know this just from speaking with people who have dealt with grief, who have dealt with pain in one form or the other, that you just learn to live with it. Moving on is a myth. What you do in the process is then what defines the outcome of your healing. How you heal, how you deal with the emotions, what you do. And I'm just going to be talking about a few things that may help, things that I did, and then things that people say will help. It doesn't mean that you never cry again, at all. It doesn't also mean that you don't stop missing them. That's actually never going to end. You miss them every day. I miss my mom every day. I miss my dad when like big things want to happen in my life. But I was really young when he passed, so I don't have too many grown memories of him. As a matter of fact, the things I remember about my dad, when my siblings talk about my dad, I'm like, am I sure I didn't make this up for my personal healing sake? Because nobody has this core memory, only me. I mean, at one point, was he raising me as an only child? Also, healing doesn't mean you have to pretend like it never happened. Can we just stop this pretense? Can we stop it? Because God sees through. He sees through to our soul. So he knows exactly how we're feeling. And the people that we are trying to, save face for and show up bold for, honestly, last, when push comes to shove, it's just you. When you're in front of the mirror, it's just you are the man in the mirror. You're looking at yourself. You'll have to admit it to yourself that, I'm not okay. I can't pretend that I'm okay. I can't pretend that I'm moving on or that I'm getting better. If anybody tells you to move on, unfriend them right now. Go and block them everywhere. I'm going to talk about the things that people said to me, when my mom just passed, when the incident just happened, things that people said to me that really hurt me, that I feel like we should never say to anyone. And one of the biggest things I've had to do with healing from grief is forgiveness. Oh my God. I don't think people talk about this often enough. You have to forgive yourself. I had to forgive myself for taking responsibility for things that I had no control over. I had to forgive God. Yes. Thunder. No, thunder did not strike, I promise. I had to forgive God because I just felt like God wronged me. So I had a personal encounter, like during a retreat, where I was sobbing so much. I was like, God, I forgive you. God, I forgive you. So that happened. It's a thing. And then I had to forgive. The biggest part is forgiving people. Forgiving people that you think are supposed to be there for you. Not to sound entitled or anything, but as someone who is often there for people, there are some people that if they're not there for you, you can't really hold it against them. Do you understand? Like, I don't think that I'm not expecting to withdraw from my emotional bank with you. So it's okay if you're not there for me. But there are some people, and in my life, that list is not more than 5. There are some people on that list that if you don't show up for me, I don't get it. It's hard to forgive. Do you understand? And I had to forgive such a thing with a friend of mine. Till date, I've still not seen her since. It's my mom that passed. Everyone who knows me knows that my mom is a major factor in my life, a major force in my life. Was, again, like I said in episode 1, it's hard to talk about her in the past tense. So if you had people that I have not spoken to in years, someone I've not spoken to in almost 15 years, saw online that my mom passed. 15 years. As far back as 15 years ago, he knew how deep my relationship with my mom is. He reached out to me. So, things like that. When this friend of mine didn't just show up, didn't reach out for whatever reason that, best known to her, it was one of the things that I had to deal with and forgive. And then just having to deal with people and how, they reacted, or the things they said to me in that process. Just people, my friend Fisaya will say, oh, that you have to make excuses for people just the way you always do, because it's in the bid to comfort that they say the things they say. But at that point in time, I know I do not want to hear anything. So that thing that he said, it hurts me. So forgiveness is a major part of healing from grief. You have to forgive yourself. Make a list of all the things and people that you think you should forgive yourself for. As a matter of fact, a major part is dealing with how you think you should have lived with the person that passed. Like, oh, maybe I should have called her more. Maybe I shouldn't have used these words. Oh, there was something I wanted to apologize for that I kept stalling for that I never did. Just different things like that, where you really can't do anything about it in present day, but you must forgive yourself for that. You must forgive yourself for that. I had to forgive my mom, say, for agreeing to die. I understand. Like, why do die? Why do die? I had to deal with that part. I had to forgive her for deciding to go and be with the Lord instead of deciding to be with her baby. I'm the last born. So, yeah, there's a lot of forgiveness that will need to happen. And you just prepare yourself. You must prepare yourself to go through that journey of forgiveness and dealing with that. So there are some things I've learned, and I just decided to pen down the healthy ways that you can actually deal with grief, things that actually help. And number one on that list for me is prayer. Sometimes when I cannot even use the words to pray, I will just talk to God. I can't even, in as much as I took time from praying, prayer helped. I'm a music person. I sing, I have a music ministry. I'm a music person. I could not listen to music. I legit pick myself up with music. If I need motivation, I have the songs that I listen to music every day and intentionally. I could not listen to music. There were some songs I could not listen to for months. Like, Jesu, I could not go there because in the hospital, I kept that song on repeat for her. Like, I wanted to change the atmosphere. So it reminded me of the fact that song didn't work. Do you understand? That's what was in my head. There are so many songs like that I can't, it took a while to listen to again. Now, remember how I started this episode talking about how I was crying in worship, and they probably would think it's the spirit. They sang that song. That song, they sang it. How will I not cry? Can you see? I cried so much. So ignoring grief is never healthy and is not going to help. Ignoring grief is literally like delaying the pain. It's like delaying the tears, delaying the process. So you can only suspend it. It will still happen. You will still have to deal with it. It will stop you in your tracks, as a matter of fact, and you will need to just pause everything else and grieve. So, it just makes sense that while as it dey hot, deal with your emotions and grieve as you should. Journaling. I said in the first episode that journaling didn't quite help me. Well, it helped for the first few times I tried it, but not for long, and I just left it alone. I guess I'm also not exactly big on journaling. The only things I like to write are maybe prophetic words, and I'm studying scripture. I write revelations that come to me. But journaling as a habit, as a thing, is not something I do. So it helped for the first few times, but it didn't really work for me. However, what I found is that I've not been able to go back. I tried to read the things I wrote in that while I was going through that season. I just couldn't bring myself to read it. So honestly, journaling didn't help me, but you can try journaling. They say it helps. The person recommended it actually recommended it because it helped her, and she believes that it would help me and anyone else who tries it. Just didn't work for me. Maybe instead of writing down, if you're a lazy writer like me, you can also try voice notes. I did that a couple of times. Don't call me crazy, okay? I just needed something, so I would send voice notes to my mom's WhatsApp on my phone, and I would also listen to her voice notes. Oh my God. I had to take a pause on doing because it was messing with my head. I had to stop doing that. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. But whatever rocks your boat, if you try it, it helps you, do you. A couple of therapist friends reached out to me and asked that if I wanted to talk. I believe in therapy. I promise you I believe in it, but I just could not bring my own self to open up that deeply to someone who knows me. So maybe a therapist who didn't know me would have helped, but therapy I hear works. My therapist friends advised that I do therapy, and they are born again Christians. So therapy works. I believe in therapy, honestly. I intend to even take some courses to be able to do therapy. But I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So I recommend, do whatever works for you. Next is give yourself permission to live and laugh. I had to deal with, stopping myself in my tracks when it's like you're having too much fun. You're having too much. You're laughing too much. You're living too loud. I had to give myself permission to just go on with life, because having joy doesn't mean that I've forgotten my mom, or that you've forgotten your loved one, or that you no longer feel the pain. It just means that you are living life. And like I said in the first episode, that grief is not linear. It's not two-sided, it's multifaceted. So life is multifaceted. So you can't, if you are feeling sad, sometimes sadness is not all that you feel. On the back of sadness, you can also feel amused. You can feel laughter. On the back of sorrow, you can even feel happy. I don't want to say joy, because joy is deeper than happiness. So life is not just one face or two faces. It's multifaceted. There are different parts of it. So give yourself permission to live, to laugh, and to enjoy each day. The messages that come with each day, the things that are happening for you, irrespective of what you've lost or whom you've lost. And if you have someone who is dealing with grief in your life right now, here are a few things that you must never say to them. Never. It can never be right. It will never be okay. Do not say they're in a better place. What do you mean? Explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. So being with me and my family, being here, is not a better place. It may be true, but it can never be well received when they are grieving at that point in time. You can say it in your community of friends where you're talking about the person's pain, but to the person who is grieving, don't do that. Because they're in a better place. Okay, will I get visitation rights? Can I go and see them once? Oh, no, then say that again if I slap you. Or you say, oh, at least they lived a good life. Okay, I know. Cool, but it still hurts. Saying that doesn't make it better. I've learned that. It doesn't make it better. They lived a good life. You can say, oh, thank God for the life they lived. Don't say they lived a good life, meaning, okay, so because they lived a good life, it nullifies my grief or nullifies my pain. I will throw you shoe. Don't say that again. Stop it, please. A very interesting one, and this one is on this note, is on my script, because my friend Babatunde, he said to me, let me know if you need anything. And immediately he said, I take that back. I'm sorry I said that. I would do what I think you need. I can't remember how he put it, but he immediately said, I take that back. And of course you need things. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. If you say, let me know, okay, at 2 a.m., I'm going to call you and say, I need a cup of coffee, I need roasted corn and coconut, and I need a shoulder to cry on. Will you come? Because if you say, let me know if you need anything, I most likely will never. But it's rare when you tell someone, let me know if you need anything. It's rare for them to actually call you, to come back to you to say, at best, you can say, if you need to talk, I'm here. That's better than let me know if you need anything. Or you will bring me coffee at 2 a.m. Will you come from your house, or you go and cook ofada rice and beans for me? Because I don't know what are we getting at? It's not working. The best thing to do is just show up. Sometimes you don't. I don't know why we feel the need to talk. If you don't know what to say, you don't have to say anything. You can just be there. Sometimes one of the things that people who sometimes again, like I said, one of the things that people who have lost someone need is to just reenact the scenarios or the situation that surrounded the loss. So you can be there and just listen. Do not comment. Do not come back to say, oh, I remember when my grandma died. That was not the time. We're not comparing pain or trying to measure who grieved the most. One of the things that irked me, pained me, hurt me, and I love this person so much, so I forgave. One of the things I had to forgive quicker than the others was the person said to me that what they went through, the person has lost a number of people. Say what they went through that is bigger than what I am going through. It was a phone conversation. I honestly wanted to just hang up because I'm like, read the room. Now is not the time. Even if you truly believe, it's not the same. You don't know my pain. You didn't love the person as much as I loved her. You didn't even have a personal relationship with this person. So how can you say what you went through is bigger than what is wrong? It's so, please, if you ever feel tempted to compare your pain when somebody is sharing what they are going through, it is wrong. Don't do it. Desist. Hold your tongue. Padlock it. Gum it to the roof of your mouth if it will help you not say the wrong things. Don't put your foot in your mouth. Another thing that someone said to me that really blew my mind, and I really just wanted to snap at the person. This was someone who saw me weeks after my mom passed, and the person said to me that I hope you're okay now. Exactly. That's exactly how I felt. In that moment, I didn't even know what to say. I did not know how to. What I really wanted to say could not come out of my mouth as a child of God. But I'm like, it's not malaria I had, sis. I did not fall. You don't understand. I'm not coming back from a sickness. How can you ask if I'm okay? You don't understand. Your life literally changes. If you're expecting for things to go back to normal or things to get back to how they were, let me break it to you that the version of you that lived without the person that you lost has never existed before. So you have to deal with this new version of you that has to live with this person. You have to get to know this new version of you. It's different. Can you ask me if I'm okay now? Auntie, it's not headache. Please don't ever say that to anyone, okay? It's wrong. Don't ever say that to anyone. And I want to reiterate again. If someone is talking about their pain and their grief, or trying to just have conversations about, the loss that they've experienced, don't bring in your own. Just listen and nod. Just listen and nod. And don't say, I know what you mean. You don't. Don't say, I get you. You don't. Even saying I can imagine, I try not to say, because can I really imagine? Because pain is different for everybody. It's different for everyone. So if you don't know what to say, or you don't know how to say what you want to say, just hold their hand, squeeze their palm, rub their back, or just be there. Just your presence alone. If you're around them, you can cook for them, bring food, cook it. Don't say, do you want food? They will most likely say no. If you want, whatever you want to do, just do it. Don't ask that, can I bring you food? Do you want? The best you can do is, should I cook ofada? Not should I cook for you? Just if you're going to be there, don't talk about what you want to do. Just do it. And, you don't know how much your presence can help. You don't know what your presence can change about how the person's day is going to go. Just show up, be present, let them talk about what they're going through, or just sit in silence. Sometimes that's enough, because, sometimes it's not even about It's not even about, oh, you having the right words or being wise enough to give counsel. It's not about that. Empathy always trumps advice. I'll say that again and put it in caps. Empathy trumps advice, okay? Empathy, just being there, being present, letting it show on your face that I'm here for you. I cannot carry your pain. I cannot feel your pain the way you're feeling it, but I'm here. Empathy is better than just be strong. Someone once told me, just be strong. You just need to be strong. You didn't know that me showing up for myself and not just allowing myself to wallow in grief and be dejected is being strong. You didn't know that allowing myself to cry, I'm getting passionate. Allowing yourself to cry is one of the ways to be strong. So please do not tell someone who's grieving that they should be strong. Men to men, don't say shockering. What's that? I will always honor my siblings for grieving the way my brothers especially. I will always honor them. Our firstborn especially. He didn't say, well, I'm the firstborn, I'm 6'4". They are more, I shouldn't cry in front of them. We cried together. And I will always, a different level of respect for how he's been dealing and how we're just all going through this together. Listen, my dear siblings, grief is hard, healing is weird. Sometimes you're fine, sometimes you're not. My friend Bukola, sometimes we don't, all my friends in my very close circle, we don't greet each other. You know that one, that what's up, hey, what's up? We don't greet each other. We just start saying the thing I want to say. And I adore you guys for that. Bukola and I, sometimes we just have these conversations. I'll just say, she's the one I said lost her mom a month after my mom passed. And sometimes it would just be a message like, oh my God, I just remembered that I wanted to write a book with my mom. And she doesn't have to say, oh, I'm so sorry. Then you can still write it. She'll just say, that it's just, I really hope that you get people like that. I pray that God blesses you with the gift of men like that, where you can just have banters about what you're going through and without having to explain yourselves or be apologetic about what you're going through. It is such a gift. However you're going through your grief or however you're healing is valid, and you need to understand that it's valid. It's not wrong because it's different from someone else's method or different from how someone else is going through what they're going through. If you're going through grief, if you're trying to heal from the pain of the loss of a loved one, and you watched this video up to this point, I want to say that you're doing a good job of showing up for yourself and making efforts to get better. I want to encourage you, let's heal together. I'm sure that there'll be much more to talk about. You have experiences, opinions, and ideals about this subject of grief, this mystery called grief or the mystery called death. Please put it in the comments. I want to encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that I don't give up again. This is the second coming. Please subscribe, like this video, and please, I'd love to read from you. Drop your comments and let's heal together. Thanks for watching.